Now, this upcoming NFL season is a make or break year for Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is coming off of a sophomore slump back in 2019. And this season is the year we find out how good he truly is. Now, a lot of people say that Baker Mayfield was overrated, or defensive coordinators figured out how to stop Baker Mayfield. Freddie Kitchens wasn't a good coach, and the offensive line wasn't that great. And those were all reasons for Baker Mayfield's failure or his regression in 2019. But I also think that Baker Mayfield deserves a good amount of blame himself for him taking a step back. And the reason why I feel was because Baker Mayfield got complacent. Something that me and you watching have all went through at some point of our life. We got up to a certain point of our life, we felt satisfied. So since we felt satisfied, we stopped putting in that work. Maybe you got a promotion at your job that you worked hard for. And after you got that promotion, you wasn't putting in the same amount of effort and energy that you did before you got a promotion. Baker Mayfield had one of the best rookie seasons we ever seen out of a rookie quarterback. He was the man. He had his chest poked out, and he was letting his nuts hang. He was the man. Nobody could tell him anything. Nobody could be like, Baker, you need to improve, because Baker Mayfield had a great rookie season. And what happened? Baker Mayfield wasn't putting in that same amount of work that he did his rookie season. He gained weight, and he had a sophomore slump. And I think 2019, in my opinion, was the best thing that could happen for Baker Mayfield. Because sometimes in life, we need to get humbled. Now, let's not even just, I don't even want to make this about football real quick. We can learn a valuable lesson from Baker Mayfield in life. That you should never get complacent with where you are in life. You can always get better. The goal in life is the way every day you wake up, your goal is to be better than where you were yesterday. When you went to bed, you should wake up a better person than where you were the previous day. That's what everybody's goal in life should be. Get better every day. Put in work every day. Strive to get better every day. Baker Mayfield was so raveled up in what the critics were saying about him, what guys like Colin Cowherd was saying about him. He was doing all these endorsement deals and all these commercials, which I got no problem with. Listen, I got no problem with players shooting endorsement deals and photo shoots and commercials and things like that. Get your bread, man. I would never fault a player for getting money. Right? As long as you're putting in the work and you're putting in the time. So Baker Mayfield got humbled. And now that Baker Mayfield got humbled, he had to take a step back. He had to sit back on his couch like this. He had to say, dang, man, 2019 was a big disappointment for me. I really let myself down. I got to get better. And that's what Baker Mayfield has been doing so far this offseason. He's been losing weight. He's been slimming down. I think I saw a picture a few weeks ago of how he's now starting to kind of get like some definition. He's now starting to get a six-pack abs or something like that. That's what Baker needed. Sometimes in life, we got to get knocked down. Sometimes we got to lose everything in life to build ourselves back up and become a stronger and better person. Forget football. Let's talk about life for a second in this video. We can learn a life lesson. I've had times in life where I got complacent. I wasn't putting in that same amount of effort. And I had to take a loss. I had to get humbled. I had to get back up, brush my shoulders off, and get better. Put back in that time. Put back in that energy. Right? You see, another big reason was because the Cleveland Browns brought in all these great young players. But what veterans did they have in that locker room? What veterans did they have that been playing in the NFL for several years that could pull Baker Mayfield to a side and be like, hey man, look, what are you doing to get better? I don't think the Cleveland Browns had a lot of those guys. Or I don't think the Cleveland Browns had a lot of those guys that were willing to step up to Baker Mayfield. Right? Odell Beckham, I don't think Odell Beckham was having that conversation with Baker Mayfield. I don't think Jarvis Landry is having that conversation with Baker Mayfield. Freddie Kitchens, being a young coach, probably wasn't having that conversation with Baker Mayfield. That's why it's always good to have some kind of veteran players. You see, a lot of people poke fun when teams bring in like older guys that are like past their prime and things like that, about to retire. Like a lot of people are making fun of teams signing Frank Gore, right? But Frank Gore is a veteran. Frank Gore is a guy who you need in that locker room. Who can, get those young guys motivated. Get those guys working. And the Cleveland Browns didn't really have that in that locker room. Bunch of young guys. Bunch of good young players. They didn't have that veteran presence. You didn't really have that good of a head coach. Not only was Freddie Kitchens not really that good when it came to X's and O's, really, when it came to coaching the team, but he really wasn't a great leader. He wasn't really a good leader of men. Being a head coach is more than just knowing football, things like that. You got to be a leader of men. And it's really hard to do that because these guys get paid millions of dollars. You got guys who are young, who are like 20 years old. You got guys who are like 34 years old, right? So it's really hard to be a head coach in the NFL. It's more than just calling plays and things like that. You got to be a leader. Freddie Kitchens wasn't a great leader. Baker Mayfield suffered for that. Baker Mayfield had a sophomore slump because of that. Baker Mayfield got knocked down. He got humbled. Now he's getting back on his feet. He's putting in that work. 2019, in my opinion, was the best thing that happened for Baker Mayfield. I don't think Baker Mayfield is overrated. I don't think it was overhyped. I just think he was just human. He suffered the same thing we do. From time to time. In life, we get complacent. Sometimes we need to get humbled. Sometimes we need a reality check to make us go back into the right direction. This is what Baker Mayfield needed. And the Cleveland Browns this year, I think not only will they make the playoffs, but Baker Mayfield will bounce back. This is a make or break year for Baker Mayfield. The pieces are set for Baker Mayfield. The Cleveland Browns are going to go as far as Baker Mayfield will take them. Baker Mayfield has a great receiving core. You got Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, the best wide receiving core, or the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. I'm not arguing with anybody. You got David Njoku, Austin Hooper. You got Dredrick Willis with the 10th overall selection, who a lot of people felt was the best offensive lineman in this draft class. At least the best pass blocking offensive lineman. You got my guy, who is one of my favorite offensive linemen in the NFL, Jack Conklin, who is one of the best offensive tackles in the NFL, an elite offensive tackle at that, which is really hard to find. There's only about, 3 or 4 truly elite offensive tackles in the NFL. Then you have above average guys. Then you have average guys, right? It's really hard to find a franchise caliber offensive tackle. So offensive line is improved. You got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in the backfield, and you should have a really good defense. So the Cleveland Browns have all the pieces set. It just all comes down to Baker Mayfield. Will Baker Mayfield be overrated? Will he show that he was never truly really deserving of as a first round pick? Or will he live up to the expectations put in place of being a first overall pick? And I think he will. I think that Baker Mayfield is looking at 2019. He's using that as motivation. He's using that as drive to get better. Now, it would be easy for me to come on here and bury Baker Mayfield. Just say that Baker Mayfield's just overrated. He was always an average quarterback. I'm not going to do that. Because I like to take a deeper dive into players' psychology, right? I don't always think that everything is just so... I don't think everything is solely based on the field stuff. Sometimes, a lot of people forget, football is also a mental game as well. If you're not mentally prepared, then it doesn't matter how good you are. Doesn't matter how much talent you have, football is also a mental game. And it showed last year. I don't think Baker Mayfield got exposed or anything like that. I don't think he got exposed to being an average quarterback. I think Baker Mayfield is a top 15 quarterback. He just was human, and we saw that. He got complacent. It happens with a lot of young people. So I feel Baker Mayfield should bounce back this upcoming NFL season. But this is a make or break year for Baker Mayfield, believe it or not, because the Cleveland Browns, they don't hesitate when it comes to replacing quarterbacks. They don't. Deshaun Kaiser lasted 1 year. He was out of there. Johnny Manziel lasted 2 years. He was out of there. So, I mean, the Cleveland Browns won't hesitate to replace Baker Mayfield if they feel Baker Mayfield isn't the guy. You got a new coaching staff. You got a new front office. Baker Mayfield isn't their guy who they drafted. They are inheriting Baker Mayfield. But if Baker Mayfield stinks to join up this season, he might be packing his bags. He might be out of there. So let me know how you guys feel about Baker Mayfield this upcoming NFL season. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.